it. Time scale is what we are seeing as the first operation here, and what we're dealing with is operations on independent variable. Fine. We have discussed this. X of t is a signal. Fine. So if you multiply a scalar here, it's amplitude scaling. Okay. So this is amplitude scale. Okay. Suppose if you scale time, it is time scale. You understand the difference? So here we are scaling the signal. That's why we took this in the previous topic. Here we're scaling the time. Independent variable we are scaling. Here we scale the dependent variable signal. Here we are scaling the independent variable time. Okay. So that is what is time scale. Understand it? Okay. So how that can be given as, see here? It can be given as y of t, which is going to be a time scale signal x of at as far as the continuous time is concerned. So in discrete time, it is going to be a different way scaling a discrete time signal. Okay, so let's first see what happens in continuous time. Fine. Now let's consider a signal for this. Everybody consider a signal to see this. Okay, to understand it better. Everybody copy this. Consider x of t equal to 1 for t greater than -1, for less than 1, and 0 elsewhere, or you can even say otherwise. Fine. Now this is the signal given. Let's see what happens if you scale the time in this particular signal. Okay, so everybody copy down this. Now what we're doing is, here, let's sketch this signal. Everybody sketch this. Yeah. Now this is x of t is 1 from where to where? From -1 to +1. Okay, and x-axis is t and y-axis is x of t. Now what shall we do is, see everybody, now what I'm trying to do is this. Let's just extend this y-axis down. Okay, and see what I'm going to do now. Just observe here everybody. X of 2t I'll do. What is x of 2t now? Anybody? I'm trying to double the time axis. I'm multiplying the time axis by 2. So that means 1 will become 2, 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8. So what should happen to the signal? Can anybody comment on that? Listen to me everybody. This is x of t, which extends from -1 to 1. Okay. Now, if I do x of 2t, if I multiply t by 2, what would happen to the signal? Anybody? Can you comment on that?
Extends from -2 to +2.
X of 2t extends from -2 to +2. So that is what we generally think of. That's a good try, because that is what the logic tells us. If x of t extends from -1 to 1, since we are doubling the time axis, okay, it should extend from -2 to 2. That's a good thought. But see what happens here is, everybody, what we are doing is we are operating on time and we are not operating on the signal is something that we need to remember. Is that okay with you, everybody? We are not operating on signal, but we are operating on time. So nothing will happen to the signal. The signal would be there where it is. But rather what would happen? What would happen is only the time will expand. only the time will expand, signal will be there as it is. Get that point? Now, if the time is going to expand, so this 1 and minus 1 would become what? Minus 2 and plus 2. But what would happen to signal? I've told you signal will not change. Signal will still be there in minus 1 and plus 1. Is this understood, everybody? Yes. So the signal is not varying, but the time axis is varied because it is doubled. So how the signal is looking? How the signal is looking? Signal is looking small. Yes or no? You understand that point? We are operating on the time, not on the signal. The signal should be as it. The signal which was there extending from minus 1 to 1 should extend from minus 1 to 1 only. But the time axis will get doubled, will get scaled by multiplying 2. Understand? So if you multiply t by 2, the time by 2, what would happen? The the signal will get shrink or it gets compressed. Understand that? So suppose if I want this to be 1 only, so here it is 1, right? So I want this also to be 1 only. So what I do is, instead of saying it got doubled, what I do is I'll just take this off. So this will still be minus 1 and plus 1, okay? But this would become minus half and plus half. So this is 1 from minus 1 to 1 they are saying. So this would also be 1. The amplitude will not change, only the time axis will change. So I've shown you what happens if I change the time axis, if I multiply time axis by 2. Okay, that was the justification I gave. Now instead of, but if you see this is 1 only, this is minus 1 only. If you want this to 1 and minus 1, then this should be minus half and plus half. That means earlier x of t was ranging from minus 1 to 1. Now x of 2t would range from minus half to plus half. That means this implies that in x of 80, if a is greater than 1, means this implies that x of 80 is compressed version of x of t. Is this understood, everybody? If a is greater than 1, then x of 80 is compressed version of x of t. So if a is 2, it is getting compressed by a factor 2. Okay, if a is equal to 2, x of t is compressed by a factor 2. So this is what one needs to understand. Fine. Similarly, if I do this, I'll just extend this down, same lines. Okay, and I'll do this now. Everybody see, instead of multiplying it by 2, I'll multiply it by half, x of t by 2. Instead of multiplying it by 2, I'm dividing it by 2. So what should happen is this. See, the signal x of t, which was earlier extending from minus 1 to 1, would now extend from what? Minus 2 to 2. So this you should understand. Okay, if you multiply the time axis by a number less than 1, then the signal will expand. Okay, if t is multiplied by a number greater than 1, means what happens to x of t? X of t will compress. So 2t means it gets compressed by a factor 2. Okay, T by 2 means it gets doubled by, it gets expanded by a factor 2. So this is what is time scaling. Very important because we'll be using it in many places. Understand that? So let's just generalize, summarize. Therefore, in x of at, okay, if a is greater than 1, x of t compresses. If a is less than 1, x of t expands. Just remember this. Fine. Now, let's consider the discrete time signal. Discrete time signal. Consider a discrete time signal. Okay. And the discrete time signal that we are considering is this. X of n equal to 1 for n equal to odd, 2 for n equal to even. So for even numbered n's, x of n would be 2. For odd number n's, x of n would be 1. Okay. Now let's sketch this signal and see how does that look like. We have done that with continuous time. We'll see what happens with discrete time. Very important. Just concentrate, and at the same time you also sketch. Fine. I'm going slow, so you should not have problems copying the things when the things are on the go. We shall do that. Fine. So this is x of n. Let's have 0 as the even. Okay, at 0 it is 2, at 1 it is 1, at 2 it is 2, at 3 it is 1, at 4 it is 2, at 5 it is 1. Okay, that means this will keep happening on the right hand side as well as on the left hand side. Okay, so this is how it looks like on both the sides. So this is a signal. Can you tell me whether this is periodic or non-periodic? Anybody? This
Periodic.
This is periodic. What is the fundamental period?
2.
2 is the fundamental period. Good. Because see here, 1, 2, you have the samples of, at 1 you have sample 1, at 2 you have sample 2. Again, at 3 you have sample 1, at 4 you have sample 2. So that means the samples 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 are repeating. So 2 samples are fundamental period. Okay. Now this is periodic, and this is deterministic also. In that sense, this is power signal. But that is not of our interest now. We shall see what happens if I scale this particular signal. Okay, so everybody just see now. I hope you have copied down the signal. Those who have copied down the signal, just wait. Okay, so let's understand this and then go for sketching. So what I'm doing is x of 2n. Fine. So let's see what happens to x of 2n if I multiply n by 2. Earlier in continuous time signal, if I multiply t by 2, the signal used to compress. The signal which was ranging from -1 to +1 would range from -half to +half. That is -0.5 to +0.5 if I double the time axis. Now here, what should happen is the thing. Now it has to concern. It is a concern here also. Okay, when I'm multiplying n by 2, the sample which is at 2 should come at 1. Is that okay, everybody? Since it has to get compressed, okay, the sample which is there at 2 should come at 1. The sample which is there at -2 should come at -1. In that sense, where do you think the sample at 1 and -1 should go? Can anybody comment on that? logically. When it is getting doubled, it should compress. Compress means the signal, the sample at 2 should come at 1, the sample at -2 should come at -1. Then where would this samples at 1 and -1 would go?
Half and minus half.
Half and minus half logically. Very good. Half and minus half logically. Now, do you think when the x-axis is n, that half and minus half exists on axis n? Yes or no? Does that exist? See here, what is n? What is n? N is not, n is what? The integers, the integer instance of time. Is minus half and plus half integer instance of time?
No, sir.
No. So that means what happens when it is not there, when minus half and plus half is not there, that means the one which should have come at minus one which should have come at 0.5 and the minus one which should have come at minus 0.5 would vanish, because 0.5 and minus 0.5 are not there to be seen on an axis n. Is that okay with you, everybody? Okay, so in that sense, the sample at 2 would come at 1, the sample at -2 would come at -1, the sample at -1 which is supposed to be coming at minus 0.5 will vanish, because minus 0.5 is not there on this, because minus 0.5 is not integer. Similarly, plus 0.5 is not integer, so the sample at 1 which is supposed to be coming at 0.5 would also get vanished. Understand that? So these samples would go off. Now tell me, in a similar way, what should happen to the samples at 3 and -3? Should come at 1.5 and -1.5, but 1.5 and -1.5 are not there because they are not integer instants, isn't it? So that means the samples existing at odd numbered n's would vanish here, because the sample at 5 should come at 2.5, but 2.5 is not to be seen. The sample at -5 should come at -2.5, which is not to be seen. That means you'll be losing all the samples which are there at odd instants of time. So you'll only have you will only have the instants or the samples existing at even instants of time. That means the sample at 2 would come at 1, sample at -2 would come at -1. The sample at 4 would come at 2, the sample at -4 would come at -2. Okay, so this is what is happening. The sample at 0 would be there at 0. There's no problem with that. So that means now you have samples which are equal to 2. They were all existing at even numbered n's before scaling, but now after scaling, we have lost the samples at odd instants of time, and we have only retained the samples at even instants of time. Okay, the sample at 2 came at 1, the sample at 4 came at 2, the sample at -2 came at -1, the sample at -4 came at -2. Understand that? So all odd numbered samples are vanished. So that means what is happening? We are losing the information. Understand that? So this is the summary. Everybody just understand this. When x of 2n is performed, we lose samples at odd n's, odd n. Okay, so this is loss of information. Any sample is an information. Okay, so losing any sample is loss of information. Okay, so therefore what we say is, therefore scaling discrete time time is not advisable. That means we don't advise you to scale the time in discrete signals because that leads to loss of information. Then you can say I'll scale by a factor less than 1. No, don't go for scaling at all, they say, because they don't know what is going to happen. That will expand, yes, that will expand obviously, but since when we are trying to compress it, we are losing the samples. That's why they say let's not go for what scaling the time in discrete time signal. Is that understood, everybody? Okay, so very interesting thing, very interesting thing. We did that in continuous time, it got compressed, but it is not loss of information. Okay, we did x of t by 2, it's expanded, it's not loss of information. But here, losing the samples at odd numbered ends is loss of information. So let's not do it, is what they say. Okay, so let's go with the second operation after time scaling. Okay, the second operation is this. Everybody just take down. The second operation is time shifting. So we have time scaled. Now we shall shift the time. Everybody just take down this. Let's again consider y of t. Okay, now let's shift in time, that is t plus b. So earlier we did x of 80. This is time scale. Now we are doing x of t plus b, that is time shifting. Is that okay with you? Let's see what happens by taking an example. Okay. Now consider everybody this signal x of t. Let's consider x of t, that is given as this. Okay, this is x of t, which ranges from -1 to +1. Okay, so copy this, everybody. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Fine. Now what would happen if I do t plus b? B is some number. Fine. Now everybody just look at this and tell me what should happen to x of t minus 1 if I do. Can anybody comment on this? X of t ranges from -1 to 1. Where do you think x of t minus 1 should range from? So t minus 1 is shifting x of t to the left or shifting x of t to the right is the question. Anybody? Can anybody comment on that? Is performing x of t minus 1 is shifting x of t to the left or shifting x of t to the right? Logically, t minus 1 means we think that t minus 1 shifts x of t to the left, isn't it? But that is not what is happening. See here, everybody just understand, very important, concentrate. Okay, so x of t, where is the origin of x of t? X of t's origin is here. See here, everybody. X of t starts at t equal to where? -1. Okay. Now, where x of t minus 1 should start? Okay, if x of t starts at t equal to -1, where do you think x of t minus 1 should start? Can you comment on this? Just give it a try. Let it be wrong. No problem, but we'll learn, we'll engage ourselves at least. Yeah. If x of t starts at t equal to -1, x of t minus 1 starts where? Nobody? See this is how we need to say if x of t starts at, everybody just see here, if x of t starts at t equal to -1, then x of t minus 1 starts at t minus 1 equal to -1. This is very important. Everybody understand that? So if x of t starts at t equal to -1, x of t minus 1 should start at t minus 1 equal to -1. Understand that? So what is t minus 1 equal to -1? What t is that? So this implies it should start at t equal to -1 plus 1 equal to 0. So this implies that x of t minus 1 should start at t equal to 0. So what should it look like? It should look like this. Yeah, should start at 0, okay, and ends at 2. So this is what is x of t minus 1. Now tell me, what is x of t minus 1 doing to x of t? Is it shifting it to the left or shifting it to the right? It is
To the right.
shifting x of t to the right. X of t minus 1 is shifting x of t to the right. So what tells us that? So this particular exercise tells us that. This is the justification. Okay, so this is how we can convince ourselves how x of t minus 1 is shifting to the right, not to the left. So similarly, you can perform x of t plus 1. Similarly, you can perform x of t plus 1. Okay, so and you can see that x of t plus 1 actually shifts what? X of t to the left. Understand that? So this is how the thing would look like. So this is -2, -1, and 0. Okay. So this is what is x of t plus 1. Understand? So let's summarize this. So what is that? X of t plus 1 shifts x of t to the left by 1 second, because it is t, right? So it is 1 second. And x of t minus 1 shifts x of t to the right by 1 second. So this is what one should understand. Is this okay with you, everybody? Very important things we are discussing, because these are all very basics of signals. Fine. So wherein if we scale, what happens? If we scale continuous time signal, what happens? If we scale discrete time signal, what happens? If we shift in time, how the signal is going to shift? Okay, if B is negative, it is right shift. If B is positive, it is left shift. Is what one should understand. Is that okay with you? Now, the same thing happens with the discrete time also. Okay, same implies for x of n also. So let's not do that. Okay, so it would be a time consuming exercise. Fine. So when we solve problems, let's see that as an example. But whatever is happening for x of t, the same would happen for x of n also. Now the third thing that we need to see is reflection. Okay, the third one that we are seeing, the third operation is reflection. Everybody just take down this reflection. Fine. Now, how does the reflection looks like? What is that operation on time that we are performing? See here, everybody, it's y of t, which is x of minus t. So what is getting a reflection of a signal? It's multiplying t by minus 1. That's it. Multiplying t by minus 1 would give you what? The reflection of the signal. Fine. Now, see here. Let's again see this, taking an example. Okay. Let's consider. Let's consider x of t, which looks like this. It looks like this. It's just an example. You can take any example for this. Fine. Starts at 0, ends at 2, and this is the center point. Fine. And the amplitude of this signal is 1. And the amplitude is not of importance when we are operating on time axis. This is x of t. Now, if I do x of minus t, this we already have seen in our initial discussions. We have seen such a signal. Now, let's take x of minus t. Now, I have told you as far as the explanation that we have taken till now for performing x of minus t. Okay, so let's see that. So this is 0, 1, 2. Fine, this is minus 1, this is 2. That means what was there at 1 should now come at minus 1. What was there at 2 should now come at minus 2. Okay, what is there at 0 should be there at 0. That's why the reflection of x of t would look like this. So this is what is x of minus t. Understand? So that means here, this you consider as the mirror. You're standing on this side and you're looking into the mirror. Fine. So if you look into the mirror, this is what is going to look like. Okay. So it's your mirror image. So x of minus t means it is getting the mirror image of the signal on the other side of the x-axis, or on the other side of the y-axis rather. On positive side, if it is there, you will be finding that on negative side. If it is negative side, if you have, it would become on. So if you perform x of minus, you will get this. So if you perform x of minus, you'll get this. So you get the reflection of this is this, reflection of this is this. So mirror image, these two are mirror images. Understand that? So x of t and x of minus t are reflections of each other, or they are mirror images. Understand? So what happens if we take a signal which is there on both the sides? Okay, so this is example number 1. Example number 1. So let's consider, this is example number 1. Let's consider another example. This would be interesting. Okay, so example 2. So what happens if I consider a signal which is there on both the sides like this, minus 1, 0, 1. Can anybody comment on this? This is your x of t. What would happen to x of minus t? Anybody, you remember this? X of minus t is going to be x of t only, because I have considered the, which type of signal is this? Because x of t is happening to be x of t, x of minus t is happening to be x of t. So which type of signal is this? Can anybody comment? Here,
Even signal.
good. X of t is equal to x of minus t, since x of t is even. Understand that? Similarly, if you take odd, what happens? You can see yourselves. This is example 3. Fine. So what would it be? Suppose if you take x of t and see if it is this. This is an odd signal. Okay. So what is x of minus t for this? X of minus t for this would look like this, the reflection. The reflection. See, the reflection is going to be this. That means x of minus t is actually minus x of t, since x of t is odd, is what one should understand.